What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
You don't know what that order is, Mr. Trash. I'd show you, but I'm too old. I'm too tired. I'm too fucking blind. If I were the man I was 5 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
We've said it once, we've said it before, we've said it a gazillion times. The truth shall always set you free. This attempts to get off my lawn. The mad ramblings of a Gen Xer. Want to talk about inflation? Oh no, the sky is falling. What was trending on X yesterday was 2.7%. And that is the consumer price index at 2.7% in June, which is up from the previous month of 2.4%. So people are talking about this uptick in inflation. Now, mind you, it went from 2.4 to 2.7, so it went up 0.3%. They're saying that the possible signs that Trump's tariffs are starting to sting. Oh no. Oh, dearest me. But if you actually go through the chart and you actually think about this logically, a lot of people don't want to think about this logically. Last year, we were under, or last month, I should rephrase that, we were under analyst predictions. Analyst predictions last month, were supposed to be 2.7. We came in at 2.4. Analyst predictions for June was supposed to be 2.7. So literally, it came in right at where it was supposed to be. But the sky is falling. So inflation came in exactly where it was supposed to be. So if you go back to January, the U.S. inflation rate was 3, and then February 2.8, March 2.4, April 2.3, May 2.4, and now June 2.7. So it literally has come in where analysts predicted that it was going to come in. And then I love it because if you take a look at some prices, the index shows that used cars, trucks, and new vehicles saw some of the most substantial declines in June in reference to rate of inflation. But we don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about that it rose. Oh my God, it went up 0.3%. Food prices rose 0.3% for the month with gains in both food and home dining out. Let's see here. The energy sector reversed, meanwhile, and declined 1 full percent from the month prior, raising to 0.9 in June. The sector is still down from where it was last year. Medicaid services grew to 0.6%, and transportation services inched up to 0.2%. Airfare fell to 0.1% in June, which is one of the main reasons there was I guess, good air travel. Like, you couldn't get anywhere in and out of Newark. But if you take a look at this and you analyze it, and you don't go by the stock market, you don't go by the naysayers, you don't go by the doomsters, it met what they predicted it would be. So when Biden's inflation was 9, 10, 11%, that was okay. When it was supposed to come in like 5 or 6. But Trump, it ticks up 0.03%, and the world is ending. And all of a sudden, all that good work is starting to reverse. Oh no. This is what I don't get about this. This is literally what I don't get about this at all. And now people will point to the stock market, there was so much volatility in the stock market the other day. The stock market is basically, and I'm not going to try to pick on anyone, but it's basically like a woman. Can never make up its mind, and sometimes it's over-rational. My wife's going to kill me for that one. Oh, we got a double bang on that.
That's what she said.
But sometimes, it's irrational, and it's based off of emotion. It's based off the emotion of the investor. The investors see something that they think may be bad news, and then all of a sudden they turn around and say, well, you know what? It wasn't that bad. It's not that terrible. But at the end of the day, the end of the day is where we just have a issue at the end. Oh, Jerome Powell just needs to be fired. Can we just fire him now? He needs to get on board. You need to get on board the winning team. That's what they always say. But this guy just doesn't freaking get it. I loved a couple months ago that he basically came out and said, you know what, we kept rates where they are, interest rates where they're at, because we brought in too much money off the tariffs. I thought the whole idea of this world was to make money. I thought the whole idea was to get the economy rolling, get everyone back to work, get wages back up again. I thought that was the whole idea. But evidently it's not. And now liberals are trying to freak out a little bit because Trump is pretty much, he's reportedly his reported plans are to open up 401ks to private markets. Financial firms already developed financial firms have already figured out how to get, how to work on 401ks or how to do 401k-esque things. But now he's talking about opening it up. And so he's talking about that he would basically direct the Labor Department, Securities Exchange Commission to develop a regulatory guidance for employers and plan administrators about inclusive of private assets into 401k retirement plans. That sounds like a good thing to me. But of course, the sky is falling. And you have Ramadama Ding Dong, who's running for mayor of New York. That's going to be bad for him because he only comes from a wealthy family. I love when people come from a wealthy family and they're socialists, because it's easy to be a socialist when you have money. It's very simple. And I love, let's see. I think we have hold on, do I have a nice snippet from Ramadama Ding Dong? Oh, yes, I do, from when he was giving an interview the other day. Hold on. We got to talk. We got to listen to the Zoham Ramadama Ding Dong.
I worked until January, and then I took time away from my job. And one of the major reasons I could do so was because I knew that if I ran out of my savings, my family would be able to support me.
Oh, so your family, you know what they say about socialism? Problem with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money. That was, of course, from Margaret Thatcher. So the Ramadama Ding Dong he doesn't have to worry about money. He had a big lunch with AOC and the other socialist Democrats. I love it. Winston Churchill says socialism, the philosophy of failure, of greed, of ignorance, and the gospel of inherent virtue is the equal sharing of misery. Let that one sink in for a little bit. But don't worry, the economy's starting to roar. We're starting to move in the right direction. The tariffs have not hurt like people were going to say. You see a small increase, and then you see some good coming out of the tariffs. You say, Tim, what good is coming out of the tariff? U.S. and an EU firm has struck a major deal, or gas deal, as trade talks are going into overtime, we'll say. One of Europe's largest energy companies signed a multi-decade, let's say that again, a multi-decade agreement to buy American natural gas. That's a good thing. Virginia-headquartered Venture Global confirmed that it's penned a 20-year deal to ship 2 million metric tons of liquefied natural gas per year. This announcement marks the first long-term contract signed between the ENI, or is it ENJ? I can't remember. ENI and a gas producer. Why? It's going to help them get away from purchasing gas from natural gas from, I don't know, other countries they shouldn't be. But this is another portion of the trade tariffs that we're not talking about. The trade deals that we're not talking about. The deals from behind, the deals that are happening. I did see something that pissed me off a little bit. Actually, it didn't piss me off a little bit. Trump has announced that Coca-Cola has agreed to use real sugar cane in U.S. drinks. I have to admit with Trump, it is better. Pepsi, for years now, has had a real sugar cane drink, one of their sodas, and I love it. I love it. Evidently, it's better for you. Evidently, it's not using that processed stuff. And they're going to use that real cane sugar in Coke, and they agreed to do so. Currently, Coke right now uses a high fructose corn syrup in U.S. products. In contrast to cane sugar, it uses other countries like Mexico and United Kingdom. So you're going to get a better quality product. You're going to get some of these additives and preservatives out of your way. Why did it take so long for us to do something like this? Lord only knows. I literally couldn't even tell you. But you know what? We're moving, you got JFK Jr. moving in the right direction. And then you still have the morons, the moron brigade. And we wouldn't be remiss if we didn't have an AOC clip or a Jasmine Crockett clip. This is about Sesame Street in Iraq.
When you start to talk about whether or not Sesame Street or anything else that's on NPR or PBS ends up in other places, this is so that there is not this warped.
This is how stupid she is. I mean, literally. I mean, you look at her and say you could not theoretically be any dumber.
Thought process about the Western world or about the United States. We're talking about making sure that we don't end up allowing people to be radicalized against us because they have a terrible vision of us, because they may be in a government that actually puts out bad, terrible propaganda about us. When you gave the money, when we give the money to these countries, we do not control the programming. The programming is controlled by the country that it's in. It's not like they're just taking Bert and Ernie and dropping them into Baghdad. No, honey. It's a whole different show. But your mental capacity I mean, I don't get it. How dumb can you be? I mean, seriously. And if it's such a big deal, Jasmine, why don't you just turn around, raise the money yourself and send it over there? It's the little things that the Democrats do that just kind of that you kind of just shake your head and just wonder sometimes, what side are they truly on? And then what also just kind of cracks me up is there is no election interference. Oh, all that MAGA did is just talk about election interference. Oh, they're rigging the elections.
Those choices should be made by the voters in Texas alone, not Donald Trump, Mike Johnson, Governor Abbott, or MAGA extremists who want to manipulate the election, which will have an adverse impact on the quality of life of the people of Texas. We are unified.
Now, of course, he's unified, but this is about the Texas redistricting. When Biden did the redistricting for the voting, everything was fine. It was all right. It's not rigging elections. But when you go and you take a look at it and you want to redistrict Texas, it's all of a sudden, it's the MAGA extremists.
I'm thankful for the leadership of the members of the Texas delegation who are fighting on behalf of their constituents and every single resident in the great state of Texas. All of us should be focused on rescue, relief, and rebuilding, not egregious redistricting of the Texas congressional map as part of an effort.
Now, remember when the Democrats did it in certain states to give them an advantage, it was okay. But now you're going to do the congressional map and redistrict. It's the world is ending. Oh, I literally don't know what else to tell you. There's so much more we could talk about, but I'm actually fighting a cold today, so I'm gonna cut this one short. So make sure you stay tuned for the new episodes for next week. And as always, the truth shall always set you free. This is Tim. It's going to my lawn, the mad ramblings of a Gen Xer, and I'm out of here.